we are closing out phase one of this 120-day project. And as we move forward, we've got one final challenge. We've had 4 weeks of consistent posting Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, 12 posts. And one consistent theme that is always going along is the standard has to hold even when it costs you. We've talked about knowing yourself and seeking self improvement. We've talked about the importance of understanding the knowledge of organizational theory, organizational behavior theory. We've talked about understanding the importance of applying those with applied science with inside of the workplace. And we truly understand that this stuff isn't easy. It's not the hardest thing in the world, especially when you're talking with leaders and you're running into difficulties and you're getting a lot of pushback, and that's perfectly fine. However, we sit there and we look at it and we say, if I have this knowledge, you have a moral duty to project it and to communicate it and to articulate it in a way to where you can start becoming a leader inside of that organization, because somebody's always watching you, especially when the conditions do not cooperate. And that's when the price is real. And you have to move forward with moral courage. When we go into this weekend, reflect back on what you did during the week and find one moment, one setting where you ran into a conflict and you had to progress forward with the knowledge that you possess and not off of your belief. We're talking about that belief knowledge gap. We're talking about a knowledge that you know, that you went back and you read somewhere in a book and you looked at a case study and you were like, this is not meeting and maintaining the standard of the organization. Nothing dramatic, just something very genuine. And then provide a personal example of, think about that personal example, that accountability step that you took that made you exceptionally uncomfortable, and but you move forward with moral courage and you said, hey, this is the right thing that we need to do, because that's the standard that should be held openly, not quietly. And you don't bend from your standard, you don't compromise your integrity. It's not an easy path, but it's a path that has to be held. You never deviate off the path of integrity. And what that causes is that's going to cause a rift in a lot of things. But at the end of the day, you just have to put in the work, because you have to ask yourself, am I better than I was yesterday? You're the one that has to go to bed at night and you have to sit there and say, did I compromise my integrity today? I've been in positions where I've had to lay my head down and I'm like, everybody hates me. I wake up today and I'm just like, I got a lot of people out there in the world that just simply don't like me because I'm calling a spade a spade. Me and my wife, we were filling up our tank during the 4th of July at Sam's Club. I ran into an individual that I know hates my absolute guts. This individual lied to Congress on me because I approached him and I told him what the rules of the game are and that he openly violated those rules. And I said, you're just flat out wrong. And this individual inside of our organization was a very senior individual. We were same age, but he had a different career path. And I just looked at him. I said, you're flat out wrong, because he should have known better. That cost me, and it cost me a lot. But you see, that behavior right there set a precedence, because it built my legacy and something that's going to last, and it's going to outperform other individuals and their thought processes, even when it was convenient for me to just tuck my tail and run away, because that's not what I'm building here with a championship leadership mindset. I'm talking about building a lifestyle where individuals look at you and they're like, that is absolutely one individual who will not compromise their integrity for absolutely nothing, and they will always meet and maintain that standard. I have a friend right now, and I remember him, so proud of him. He's on his second command as an O 06 in the United States Army right now. Second installation command. which is very unheard of and is specifically in his field. I remember back in 1995 when I first met him, he was a young PFC in the Army. Now he's an 06 and he'll probably become a general officer. I'm exceptionally proud of this guy. And then one day we both showed up in the year of our Lord 2000 at Fort Knox, Kentucky, and we were both drill sergeants. We were both baby drill sergeants at the same time because we both graduated from drill sergeant school, different schools, but we both showed up and started working at the same time in the same company. And later on, he ended up becoming one of my drill sergeants. I was ended up being one of his senior drill sergeants. That's what I'm talking about. That is a guy right there that I look at and I still think of him. It gives me goosebumps. And I'm just like, that's a man that never compromised his integrity in front of me. And he always held himself to an exceptionally high standard. And when I look at things like that, even though he was junior to me, man, that dude right there, he influenced me because he forced me to keep me on my A game. And so now when we look at each other and he's like, hey, Herb, what you doing? Oh man, Herb, you didn't did this, you didn't did that. And I look at him, I'm like, hey, bro, you didn't did this, you didn't did that. You know, we're always constantly vibing off each other. And you got to find that high frequency individual that's always pushing the envelope because that's what it all starts. So at the end of the day, you know the deal. Drop your comments in the comment box, and if you feel uncomfortable, visit me at my website. Give me a call, shoot me an email. All right, it's very important that we talk about this and follow along on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, because Monday, it's all about the know. It's all about knowledge. What am I applying? B, who am I becoming? And do's that action. What are you executing on a daily basis? And I look forward to seeing you in phase 2, because we're going to get down and dirty in that, and we're just going to continue to progress towards the attainment of the goal. I thank you for following along and sharing these videos, and I look forward to seeing you in the future.